This is Tom. I'm one of the co-founders here at TrustBooks. We've had a lot of questions around the quarterly review from our North Carolina attorneys using TrustBooks. And so we wanted to shoot just a very short video giving you guidance on how to complete the quarterly review inside of your TrustBooks account. So this will just take a few minutes, and afterwards you'll have confidence and understanding on how to actually go through the steps for completing the quarterly review. Before I get started, I'm going to jump into the North Carolina State Bar website. And so I'm on the North Carolina State Bar website. I'm on For Lawyers tab, and I've gone down to Trust Accounting. On this page, if you scroll down under Additional Resources, you've got the Quarterly Review Report. This is the template that the State Bar has generated and provided for you. Essentially what we have done is we have taken this manual process that we've heard is very labor intensive and complex, and we have created this exact template inside of TrustBooks, so you've got a very seamless workflow where it's going to create a paperless tool and resource, and we're guiding you through each step of the process. So let's jump back into TrustBooks. I'm going to go down under Reconciliations, and I've got the Perform Quarterly Review page. I'm going to click on that, and this is where TrustBooks guides you through each step. So you just work your way top to bottom, and what we do is once you select, in step number 2, the quarter, we filter down the next steps so that you are only seeing relevant information you need to complete this quarterly review. So in this example, I'm going to do Q2 2019. As soon as I selected Q2 2019, again, we filter down what the next step is. So the next step is only showing you clients that had disbursements during Q2 2019. I'm going to select Ben Thomas. Now again, the filtering happens. Now in step number 4, the only thing that's displayed is disbursements during this quarter related to this client. Nothing else is displayed. We're trying to make this as easy as possible a process for you to complete the quarterly review. As a reminder, a transaction from the State Bar is something that is an event. So the easiest way that I can kind of get my arms around this is describing a personal injury law practice where, let's say, you settle with the insurance company writes you a $10,000 check, it goes in your trust account, and after that clears, you have a series of disbursements that happen. You pay the law firm their earned fees, maybe you pay the law firm client cost reimbursements, then you pay your client, and maybe there's a medical lien. All 4 of those checks and disbursements would be considered a single transaction. In this example, I've only got one disbursement for the quarter related to this one client. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. I'm going to select it. Then I need to go and upload my check image. So for me, I have saved a copy of my check image on my local computer. It's going to be just like attaching a check to an email, or a document to an email. So I choose check example for quarterly review, hit open, and I hit upload file. Pretty easy and straightforward. Next steps is I'm going to review the following. I'm going to review the trust ledgers, the client ledger, and the canceled check. So with the trust ledger, what I am reviewing is to make sure that this transaction has been properly recorded in my trust ledger. If you're looking at the template from the State Bar, they call a trust ledger a statement of costs and receipts. Those are synonymous. So let me go look for April 11th. I'm going to select the April 30th trust ledger. Here it is pulled up. And you see here's my April 11th Ben Thomas speeding ticket for $5. Great. It ties into my trust ledger. I'm going to do the same with the client ledger. I'm going to select it. I'm going to open up and I'm going to look and make sure that that disbursement ties in to my client ledger. Here it is. I've got client Ben Thomas. This is the ledger showing all activity in and out for this specific client. And I can tie this disbursement directly into the client ledger. Great. I'll check off here, check off there, cancel check. I reviewed it when I uploaded it, so I'm going to sign off there. Now, any disbursements improperly made, I looked at this check. I made sure it was a valid check, no fraud, no theft, no embezzlement. It was a proper disbursement. So I'm going to say no. Any disbursements outstanding, this check was cleared as of quarter end, so I'm going to say no. So now I'm going to hit select next transaction. If you have fewer than 3 disbursements during the quarter, here's where you can put in your name and hit complete quarterly review. But if you have 3 or more transactions, then you just hit select next transaction, and you're going to go through this exact same process again. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but just showing you it's exact same process. On this example, I probably will just assume that everything is correct. And that's the beauty of using TrustBooks. You know that it's all pulling from the same data, so you know it's going to be correct. And now I've got my last transaction. Again, I'm just going to do the same exact process to make sure that I've completed my minimum of 3 transactions. And so you know, the State Bar does want you to skew what you look at towards transactions that maybe are higher risk or have more activity. It's still a subjective decision on which ones to look at, but they do want you to skew it towards transactions that have more of a risk of having an issue like fraud, theft, embezzlement, or are more complex. So now I'm going to sign off as the reviewer. I'm on my 3rd transaction, and I'm going to hit the complete quarterly review. That's it. I just completed a quarterly review. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The workflow is designed just to help guide you through each step so you don't have to overthink what you need to do. Now I am on my View Quarterly Reviews. I have my Q2 2019 completed quarterly review, and I can open it up. I can hit the View. And what we have done here is we have compiled the completed quarterly review into a single PDF. And so just like I mentioned, here's the template from the State Bar. Notice that what you've got here in TrustBooks, the final product, is going to mirror what it would need to show on the manual report from the State Bar. So we've got transaction 1, transaction 2, transaction 3. You've got our digital electronic sign-off with timestamp. And then the rest of the pages are all the supporting documentation. So here's the check image for transaction 1, the check image for transaction 2, check image for transaction 3, and then the next few pages are trust ledgers. And then the final 3 pages are going to be our client ledgers. So client ledger for number 1, number 2, and number 3. And that's it, folks. That's how easy it is to do a quarterly review. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, we're always here to help. Just email us support@trustbooks.com. Thanks so much.